Hello, Fredak here, Fred ACC. All one word. Alrighty, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. Today it's Sports Gambling number 7. This is going to focus in on football. It's football season. Alrighty, so subscribe, go back in, watch some of my other sports gambling tutorials. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 7. Knowledge is power. That's all I keep spewing from the very beginning. Knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. And the more knowledge you have, probably the better chance you're going to be profitable at what you're doing. Okay. So, disclaimers to the side. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing some of my opinions from a lifetime of sports wagering. We have horse racing, which I think is one of the better propositions to wager your money on. You have sports wagering, which many people out there definitely enjoy it. I have over the years, but I'm not going to be donating money to the house. Be that as it may, my other tutorials, my sports wagerings, do go through to discuss why sports wagering is a tough game. You're laying 11 to 10, $11 to win 10, 110 to win 100. You've got to be right 11 out of 21 plays to break even. Not an easy game. Very tough game. Enjoyable? Yes, but a difficult game just the same. At any rate, let's get into the important stuff about sports wagering, particularly college football and the NFL. Alrighty, you have two teams playing, you're going to have a point spread, and you're going to have usually a total on the game, the total amount of points that they score. You can wager over or you could wager under. Just examples, the Packers are playing the Cleveland Browns. The total is 49.5. You can play that you think it's going to be a total points of more than 49.5 or less than 49.5. And for that proposition, you're laying 11 to 10. Generally speaking, that's just the way that the game, the contest is set up. That way the house makes money. They make the VIG, the vigorish, which is about a 10% payment to the house on your losing bets. On the winning bets, if you bet 110 to win 100 on a certain particular over-under or a particular side of the game, the Packers or the Browns, and you win, you get back $210. You get your 110. The person that pays the 10% is on the losing side of it. They bet on the loser of the play, and they bet 11 for every 10, and they're on the losing side of that. So the house makes that extra amount of money for being the middleman, being the bookmaker. They're booking the bets for both sides. That's understandable. Everybody's got to make money. Let's understand a little bit about the background of it all. And once again, knowledge is power. So if you like what you see and it makes some sense, go back in and watch my other sports tutorials, sports gambling numbers. We're going to have the stock market, horse racing, sports wagering, covering a lot of different areas, a lot of different knowledge on these different things. Alrighty, so let's go back to the football season to understand it all. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief background of what I did 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I used to have 6, 7 different bookmakers, and I would call each one up and I would find out the point spread. I was doing something called playing the middles, or splitting a coup. You're pretty much betting 11 to 10. So let's just say the Packers are playing the Browns, and one person has the line at the Packers favored 2.5. Some of the other bookmakers have the Packers laying 3.5 points. Understandable. So if I saw that 4 or 5 or 6 of my other bookmakers had the point spread at 3.5, I would quickly call in to my bookmaker that had the Packers laying 2.5, and I would put down a bet on them. Let's say $440 to win $400, because 3 is a very important number, which I'll get into in a moment when it comes to football. So I just opened up a bet of $440 to win 400, betting on the Packers to win by more than 2.5 points. If they win by a field goal, I win. If they win by 10 points, I win. If they win by 40 points, I win. If they win by 1 point, I lose. They didn't cover the point spread. If the Browns win the game outright, I lose because I was laying 2.5 points. Now as it gets close to the game, I'm hoping that the line will move up to the Packers favored by 4 from 3.5. If I start to see that changes and some of them are going down to 3, then I know that the betting is coming in on the Browns. I'll call to one of them and get the 3.5 points, and I'll bet 400 on the other side, taking the Browns plus 3.5. What does that mean? If I had actually laid down those two bets, I'm betting 11 to 10, 440 to win 400 on the Packers laying 2.5 points. I'm also betting 440 to win 400 on the Browns getting 3.5 points. So if the Packers win the game by a field goal, 30 to 27, I will win both of my bets. If the line was to inch up towards 4 points before kickoff time, then I would lock in a bet of 440 to win 400 on the Browns getting 4 points. So I already have a $440 bet on the Packers to win by 2.5 points. One of those bets will win, one of those bets will lose, no matter what the final score is. The only possibility is that if the Packers win by 3, I'd win both bets. I'd win $800. And if the Packers win by 4, let's say it's 31-27 the final, or 21-17, 4 points, I would push on the 4-point bet, which I don't win, I don't lose, and I would win on the Packers laying 2.5 for a $400 profit. So the most that I'm at risk for in that situation is $40. I'm risking $40 to potentially win 800, or maybe even just on a push of the minus 4 point, the plus 4 points on the Browns. I would be a win and a push. If this doesn't make sense, rewatch the video, the posting. At any rate, those times have kind of disappeared because of electronics, the quick movements of the lines. You don't get these opportunities out there. Back in the heyday, out in Las Vegas, you'd go from one corner to the next. They didn't have that overpass where you got to walk up here and walk down there. You'd go from here to there, and I used to call it shopping for lines. You were just shopping for lines. Plus, I had the bookmakers that's all I pretty much did was play middle, splitting a coup. Be that as it may, let's fast forward to now, because that doesn't change all that much for now, for current situations. So, with the electronic world, lines move, everybody moves the line, pretty much. Still, if you think about this, let's think about this. If you live in, let's say, New York somewhere, out on Long Island, and the Jets are playing the Packers, probably most of the people are betting on the Jets who are in the New York area because they bet with their heart, not with their brains. I don't recommend that. I recommend betting with your brains and not with your heart. Okay, so probably out in Green Bay, where Packerland is, more people are betting on the Packers. So if you had a bookmaker in Green Bay, which you don't, and a bookmaker where you live in New York, Long Island, you're probably going to have a disparity between the lines. Understandable. Forgetting all that to the side, but that should make some sense, depending on the location of where you're at. For most of the different sports books that have emerged in many of the different states, the line is going to be the line. And when the line starts moving in one direction or another, on the straight up bet or on the total, that usually means that there's more money being placed on that side of the equation to move the line. Example, Packers and Browns are playing, the total is 49.5. If the line moves down to 49, that means people have been betting on the under. If the line moves up to 50, or 50.5, or 51 on the total, then more people are probably betting on the over. And they're adjusting the line to try to bring in some action on the other side. They want money on the other side to balance their books. Understandable. When it comes to football, most of your points are scored 3 points for a field goal, 7 points for a touchdown. There's the extra point. There's also safeties that are worth 2 points, but by and large, the game is 3 points and 7 points with the touchdown and the extra point. So if you look at your football scores, whether it's college football, the NFL, a 21-17 final score is not the most outrageous thing. 4 points different, 27-20, 7 points difference. So naturally, 7, 3, 4, these become critical numbers, and 11. So the gambling sports books are aware of these things. If they have the Packers favored by 3 or 2.5, and the line was to surge against the Browns up to 3.5, there's people that took the Packers laying 2.5, and there's people jumping on the other side taking the Browns with the 3.5. If it comes up 27-24 as a final score, the Packers winning, they're going to lose on many sides of their bets. That's an occupational hazard that they have to accept. Still, when you have a line of 3, favored by 4, or by 7, or even 11, those become critical spots. Or 10 points, 31-21, because of how it's all designed. The favorite team could be winning, 31-14. It's late in the game. The losing team is trying to show some face. The winning team is letting up on the defense, just letting the clock burn down. They let the team that's behind slowly grind down the field, take time off the clock, score a touchdown in the last few seconds. It ends up 31-21, right on the 10-point number. Hopefully this all makes sense. Any questions you have, feel free to ask. But it's all very logical. Now let's move forward. On the total, one of the biggest factors to the total points of any football game is going to be the weather conditions. If it's raining and it's windy, you're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield, and you're not going to be able to kick a lot of field goals. So the total on the point spread of the game will probably begin to drop come Saturday morning college football or Sunday for the NFL. Think about it logically. If the game is played inside the dome in Minnesota, the weather conditions are going to be the same. It's not going to matter if there's a tornado outside, it's snowing, it's raining, it's windy. It doesn't really matter. So I wouldn't expect too much movement on the total points of the game. The Vikings are at home and they're playing against the Packers. Okay, and the total is 48 flat. Okay, sounds good. But the outdoor stadiums, if you can foresee that there's going to be a weather movement coming in by Saturday or by Sunday, Pittsburgh's at home, outdoor stadium, the Steelers, they're playing the Jets. At home, it's Thursday afternoon, and you're looking at the projected weather coming across the country there, the jet stream, all the other different stuff. You might be right, you might be wrong. But if the total is 48.5 points, you might want to open up a $200 wager on the under 48.5. If that rain and that wind comes in and it's there on Sunday morning, that line will probably start to drop. Is there any sure things? Nah, death and taxes, that's about all of it. Be that as it may, think about it logically. If the line's going to drop precipitously down to 47, 46, 45, 45.5, you can now put a $200 wager on the over. On the over in the Steelers-Jets game, you have over 45, you have under 48.5. You're maintaining 46, 47, and 48 as the magic number, that you can win both bets on both sides. If the total ends up 45, you'll push on one, you'll win on the other one. The most you could possibly win or lose on that wager is $20. You're risking $20 to have action on the game that if the total gets anywhere as near 46, 47, or 48, you're picking up $400. If it lands on 45, you'll make $200. You'll win one bet, you'll push on the other bet. Think about it. Will the line move? It may not. You might be wrong about the weather. Now it's getting near game time. It's still at 48.5. Now it's decision time. What do I want to do? It's 15 minutes till kickoff. The weather is fine. Do I want to buy it back the other way? Meaning you're going to have to make a bet You already bet the under for 48.5 for 220 to win 200. Now you got to consider, do I want to play at 220 to win 200 on the over? If it's still at 48.5, you can't possibly win both bets. If it's 48, you could actually push on both of them. Or you could just sit on your bet and you're risking $220 if it comes in your way. Now let's go back to our scenario where you did get a line movement in your favor. So you've opened up this play. I wouldn't suggest doing it for like $2,000, 2,200 to win 200, to win 2,000, but you might want to do it for 110 to 100 if you perceive on Thursday or Wednesday earlier in the week that there's going to be bad weather coming in by Sunday or by Thursday or by Friday. Let me get on this under before it starts moving. Understandable. At least that way, if you have to buy it back the other way, you're risking $10 on the other side. Could the line move higher? Yes, people could be betting the over. The weather is fine. The line moves from 48.5 up to 49, up to 49.5, and you play it back for 110 to 100 on the other side because you've already got 110 to win 100 on the under 48.5. So now you bet the over at 49.5 for 110 to win 100. If it lands on 49, you're going to lose both bets. You'll lose the under bet and you'll lose the over bet. So these are the yings and the yangs that are out there. Still, weather conditions will move football totals. That's how it all works. From a lifetime of knowledge of what I've seen, knowledge is power. Let's remember that. If it makes sense, absorb this. If it doesn't, say this guy's an idiot. I'm not following anything this fool says. That's fine too. It's okay. And of course, they could play the game on Sunday and it could be a mud fest. And understandably, if the wind's blowing and it's raining, the football is slippery, you can't throw it, the defense is going to play up on the line, you're not going deep, there's no more deep threat, or very limited, very hard to throw the ball downfield, 20, 30, 40 yards, 50, 60 yards in the air. The wind's blowing the ball around, kicking field is going to be wide leg. You know what I mean? There's probably not going to try them unless you're down to the 15, 10-yard line, 6-yard line, or whatever. If it seems like it makes sense, absorb it and go with it. If it doesn't make sense, I understand that. Totally can respect that. Alrighty, so I've given you a little bit of a brief background on why the line movements you're going to get, mostly on the total, and the dichotomies of the 3, 4, 7, 10, and 11. Those are critical spots. Most football games are not going to end up, I don't know, 55 to 25. Most football games, there's a winner and there's a loser. Whether it's by 1 point, by 3 points, by 11 points, by 10 points. It's just the way the game is designed. Don't make it that way. That's just the way that it is. So once again, I thank you for being here. Subscribe if you want to watch some of my other tutorials. Get back in there, take a look at them. Try not to be redundant on too many things, trying to add new stuff. My expectation is that this site will become the go-to Bible for those people that want to know what's going on, to have a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more power, and a little bit more of an advantage towards trying to battle sports wagering, horse racing, the stock market, and other different things we pop into in life that we think might be able to share with my folks to have some type of advantage. So be sure to subscribe, leave any comments, hit a thumbs up, smash it. What do they say? Smash the button. All right, I want to thank you all for being here. May all your days be winning ones. I got things to do.